frying a small fish, surrounding policemen, and transplanting a tree to do with Wu Wei? And how can not doing things result in getting things done? Well, find out today on this week's episode of Talking Tai Chi with the Teapot Monk. Or non-action is a Taoist concept that is often badly translated as not doing. But Wu Wei does not speak to us of an empty passiveness towards life, nor of seeking a refuge from the world. Think of the concept of sung. Think of the Tai Chi hand, that gentle, flowing, soft and yielding part of the body that can stroke, caress, tickle, strike, gouge or punch. All depends on acting appropriately and with patience and timing. Yet, action without action, doing without doing sounds like fatalism, doesn't it? But it doesn't mean that you never intervene or never make an effort to create change. Neither does Wu Wei mean that there is nothing you can do to change the course of an event. It's just that Wu Wei gives us the awareness of when and where to act according to the patterns that present themselves.
Oh, really?
A simple example is the observation of the cycles in nature and the rising and sinking of the sap in all the plants. When transplanting a tree or pruning a tree, one takes these cycles into account and work during the waning moon in order to make the work less of an effort and the transplantation or pruning more successful. This doesn't mean that you can't do this outside the waning moon. It's merely an advice to do it according to the patterns presented by nature. Simply to follow the path of the Tao is what is important, not by forcing a result, but by yielding and flowing until the moment is right. When the moment is right, there will be time to act, with all the power and energy that is available to a Tai Chi player who knows how to respond from a point of centeredness, stillness, and calm. Wu Wei is visible all around us if we just know how to look. It can even be found in social movements such as voluntary simplicity and the less is more movement. Politically, when the timing is right, you can see this expression in the calls for change throughout the world now, as people spontaneously, yet in an interconnected fashion, take to the streets to demand change. Hallelujah. Last week, I spoke about how I believe this force can be used in street demonstrations. In Lao Tzu's writings, Wu Wei is expressed in political language. How a ruler should govern their kingdom. Ruling a big country, said Lao, is like cooking a small fish. When you're frying a small fish, too much poking about will ruin the meal. So stop intervening too much. Allow the fish to cook itself. Allow events themselves to determine their natural course of action. In Tai Chi, an example of active non-action using Wu Wei would be to teach in such a way that does not dictate to a student what to learn, but rather to give them the space and confidence to digest and absorb according to their own patterns and needs. This way, the lessons integrate into their experience and vision. It is important to remember that Wu Wei will only work as a strategy for someone who is working in harmony with the Tao. It cannot work for you unless you learn to tune yourself in to this ebb and flow. So the question is, do you need to be a sage for the principles to work for you? Well, the answer is no, not really.
Oh, really?
But you do need to be able to read the language of patterns around you, to see how they repeat and return, and to see how you fit or do not fit into their movements. How do you do this? Well, one way is to learn Tai Chi, as this is what Tai Chi teaches so well. A couple of weeks ago, I was reading some really good posts on the internet by Stuart Shaw, who is known as the Tai Chi Wizard, who through a link of his introduced me to someone called Jean Burnett, who is a Tai Chi player and has done some really interesting videos on applying these concepts to your daily living. I'll leave some of these links in the show notes too. So what am I saying? Well, there's plenty of people out there showing ways of connecting to these principles. So take heart. Tai Chi is not just about form memorization, pushing hands contests, Chi circulation weekends. There are other sides now being explored by more and more Tai Chi players across the globe. But do remember, if you're cooking a small fish this weekend, don't prod it too much. Learn to leave it be and watch how things get done without interference. Looking to discover what Tai Chi can do for you, or curious and would like to know a little more? Well, just come over to 21stcenturytaichi.com. Look for the link in the show notes. There's short introductory courses, breathing, health, Tai Chi form, sword, philosophy applications and more, plus books, PDFs and great videos and even music. Got a question? Track me down on social media as the Teapot Monk. Thanks for listening.